Hello and welcome to another edition of An English Guy Watching Wrestling. I am the English Guy, I'm Nick, thank you so much for clicking on another video, I really do appreciate it. And this one we're going to be covering the 29th of June 2021 edition of AEW Dark, and a lot of matches happened, so with that being said, jump right into it. The opening matchup was between Wardlow and Baron Black, and Wardlow, since returning to singles action, or actually in general in AEW, has been dominant, no other way to say it. And he's got a new finisher, which apparently he calls the Casualty of War, and he won that won this match with that move in very quick succession. And since Wardlow's returned to singles action, he's been great. And Pinnacle are getting more matches since they lost at Stadium Stampede 2. And it's been good to see, to be fair, because I do like the Pinnacle. They've got some very talented wrestlers. Wallow is one of them, and he's starting to show a lot more now, and I'm glad to say that. So him picking up the win here was a good thing to do and a good thing to see, to be honest. So can't fault that, and thumbs up to that, so can't fault that at all. Say fault that again. With Borders, the next match, Lee Johnson versus Barry Morales, and this was a very good match, to be fair. And Lee Johnson, obviously a student of the factory, Nightmare Factory. My apologies, Nightmare Factory, not the factory. There was a factory match perhaps later, but versus a very game Barry Morales, and honestly, this was probably Barry Morales' best performance in AEW to date, and he matched up very well against Lee Johnson, and this was a very good back and forth matchup. I think this was a great showcase from both men, who are getting an opportunity to show a little bit more than they usually do in the past. They have done in the past, I should say. I enjoyed this one a great deal, and Lee Johnson picking up the win was a good thing to do. But obviously, Brian Morales could have won the match himself quite easily because he was doing very well here. But even though Lee Johnson won, Barry didn't lose anything in this match. To be completely honest with you, I thought he had a superb showing, but this was a really good matchup and definitely one to say I wouldn't mind seeing again. That's for sure. Excuse me. But I really did enjoy this one. So really good matchup between both men. So good stuff for sure. The next match was Abaddon versus Hyan, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, Hyan, making her AEW debut. And if there's anybody that's as creepy in the women's division in AEW than Abaddon, I don't know who it is, to be completely honest with you. Abaddon picked up the win, again, with a unique finisher. Again, I don't know what it is, like a leg variant of a DDT. Yes, a leg variant, that's exactly what I said. Strange it is to say that, I don't know what to call it, but it's still quite impressive maneuvers with it. I don't see anybody else using it. But the win for Abaddon in 2 minutes and 4 seconds was something I expected. Abaddon, as I said, one of the creepiest and unique wrestlers in all the women's division for sure. So definitely happy to see her pick up the win here. Can't find that. The next matchup was between Powerhouse Hobbs and Marco Stunt. And talk about a size difference. Marco Stunt, arguably the smallest competitor in all of AEW, but he's one of the strongest Powerhouse Hobbs, sorry. And he did, and Powerhouse Hobbs picked up the win in 49 seconds. Very quick squash match. There you go. And next matchup was Lance Archer versus Kenny Bengal. And this was a fun match, to be fair, even if it was just under 2 minutes. Lance Archer is the Murdoch monster and a beast and an absolute monster, no pun intended. And it's the funny thing about this matchup, obviously, at the very start of the match, he likes to just destroy his opponents. Kenny kind of tried to take the high road and get away and run up the ramp through to the back. Lance chased him and put him back in, to be completely honest with you. So it was very unique to see that kind of start to matchup. I've never seen that from a Lance Archer match before. And it was entertaining to say the least. And I just thought, that's something I never thought I'd see. But I'm glad I did because it was entertaining, sorry. But no, it was a fun, short matchup. Lance Archer picking up the win. Well, not with the blackout, but with a black hole slam. So kind of cool to see. So, yeah. But couldn't fault that little run up the ramp. That was quite funny. And next matchup was Tay Conte versus Charlotte Renegade. So my apologies. And I said it before, and I'll say again, arguably the most improved female competitor in AEW in 2021 has been Tay Conte. has had a brilliant 2021 in all seriousness. Had a fantastic matchup with Akara Shida not too long ago for the AEW Women's title, and honestly, a match of the year contender. It was stunning to watch from start to finish. And her to pick up the win at 2 minutes and 20 seconds was great, and for her to build the continued momentum what she's doing. And she's the ranked number 2 competitor in the women's division, and she picked up the win again in this one. I'm glad to see it because I think Tay has a chance, maybe to have a chance at the title again. Who knows? See what happens from there. But of course, it is Nyla Rose in front of Tay Conte to get a shot at the AEW Women's title, and she will be soon at some point, I'm sure. But that being said, fun short match. Tay Conte pick up in with the DDT. Oh. So my phone December picture in my punch. Anyway, next match was QT Marshall and Aaron Soda versus Chad Lennox and Zachariah. Now, I was saying about the factory earlier. This was a factory versus Nightmare factory matchup. QT Marshall and Aaron Soda representing the factory, and Chad Lennox and Zachariah representing the Nightmare factory. And being coming to the ring by, not to the ring, but to the entrance ramp by Dustin Rose. And it was said that they are Nightmare factory students, so it's cool. And obviously, it was a fun showing from these two, to be fair. And they did show some decent stuff in this matchup. But the experience advantage did win with QT Marshall and Aaron Soda picking up the win in 4 minutes and 18 seconds. That being said, it was a good showing from Lennox and Zachariah. They did show some promise in this matchup, to be fair. And obviously, the training from Dustin, Glacier, and others at the Nightmare Factory is showing evidence, and this was no different from that. I enjoyed this one a great deal, and it was a fun, short match, but a good tag match. So the factory picked up the win, I think was the right call here. So there you go. And the next matchup was one of my matches of the night, to be fair. Frankie Kazarian versus J.D. Drake. And as far as I know, first time ever singles meeting between these two. And, sorry. Sorry about that. Anyway, this was a good matchup between these two, and very unique clash of styles. JD Drake more of a smash mouth kind of guy. Frankie Kazarian is one of the best veterans in AEW and in all of wrestling, to be fair. He's been going for so long and can do so many great things. And he's as smooth today as he's always been. And now called the Elite Hunter, for obvious reasons, because obviously the SCU having to call it a day after the matchup with the Young Bucks. So him to kind of put that aside for this match, it was cool to see, but not to say that he didn't put up a good performance. But then so did JD Drake. And these two just clashed very, very well together. As I said, different styles in a unique way. I said JD Drake more smash mouth. Kazarian can be smash mouth too, but his all-round style has always been great to watch, and it did pay dividends in this. And him using the crossface chicken win is something I've said, something new from Frankie Kazarian. I've not really seen him use before. But him doing that is definitely no bad thing. And he picked up the win here, so I definitely can't fault that. So thumbs up to both of them for producing a really entertaining match here. So I enjoyed this one. Really good back and forth match. So good for that. And his matchup was then Angelico versus Arjun Singh making his AEW debut. And arguably the greatest submission wrestler in all of AEW is Angelico, the Navarro style. And he did win with the Navarro Deathlock yet again at 2 minutes and 31 seconds. And it's kind of cool to see the cockiness of Angelico kind of come through in this matchup a little bit, which he did. Because even though he's kind of laid back, he did show more of a cocky attitude in his matchup, which I've never seen from him. I haven't seen from him, in a long time. Got it out eventually. But there you go. Angelico picking the win in a quick fashion, but a bit more of a cocky side to Angelico, which is unique to say the least. So follow that. But thumbs up. And this match was a very quick match. It was Nyla Rose versus Holly Dead making her AEW debut. Now, Holly Dead is the former tag team partner of Thunder Rosa. And I like Holly Dead, sorry. And I've seen her wrestle quite a few times. Wrestled here in England quite a few times with Pro Wrestling Eve. And I've seen it elsewhere too. And I do like her. But Nyla Rose, being a native beast, dominated the matchup and picked up the win with the Beast Bomb in hard-hitting fashion, to be fair. So even though Holly Dead, it was cool to see her there. The night belonged to Nyla Rose, unfortunately. But there we go sometimes. And this matchup was Sunny Kiss versus The Blade. And this was a really, really good matchup, to be fair. I really enjoyed this one. And I think this was a great matchup between two guys who are starting to show more promise in AEW as time goes on. Obviously, the Blade having a singles matchup because of the Butcher being on the shelf of injury right now. And Sonny Kiss kind of doing a solo route now. Him and Joey Janela have kind of parted ways in a small way. Not 100% confirmed, but I think that's how it's gone. That being said, this was a very good showing from both men, to be fair. Back and forth action. And I think Sonny Kiss, his style clashed very well with the Blade because the Blade, he's kind of an all-rounder, but he's got more of a smash mouth style when he wants to. But he's a long-time veteran as well, been going for many years in the business. But this was a very, very good matchup. And even though Sonny Kiss lost this one and a great hitting Dr. Bomb, was a hit Dr. Bomb from the Blade, this was definitely no bad showing from Sonny Kiss at all. I enjoyed this one. And it was a good back and forth matchup. And I think this was a matchup, again, I wouldn't mind seeing again. Even if it was only 6 minutes and 56 seconds. They used every second of that time, so couldn't fault it. So really good matchup from these two. So definitely can't fault that. Thumbs up for sure. Phone's gone weird. There we go. My apologies. Next match was Julie Hart versus Ashley Dean Boys, and as far as I know, Julie Hart is the youngest competitor in the women's division in AEW. I think she is. Only 19 years old. And probably, again, along with Penelope Ford, the most athletic because of her cheerleading background. But, she uses that athleticism to her advantage, and it shows it because her style is kind of different and unique to watch in the women's division. Think, in a small roundabout way, Sunny Kiss perhaps being the most athletic wrestler in the male division, kind of variance in that way is kind of similar to what Julie Hart does. And it shows, and kind of cool to see. And she did pick up the win in 2 minutes and 34 seconds, but something unique was it's a split leg drop, which is kind of cool, but her pick up the win was a good thing, and she's starting to pick up more momentum as time goes on. And I think that she keeps on going the way she does, she's going to get further momentum, of course, part of the Varsity Blondes team, shall we say. I don't know if they've got a name, the faction, but anyway, they're all on the same page, so couldn't fault that. So Julie Hart winning was a good thing here, and can't fault that, so there we go. And the next match was probably, in all seriousness, my match of the night. It was Private Party and Jack Evans versus Dark Order, Stu Grayson, Evil Uno, and Colt Cabana. And this was a cracking trios match, to be fair. And first ever teaming between Private Party and Jack Evans. And obviously, I think the hybrid trio are now officially part of the Hardy family office, but don't quote me on that. If not, they certainly probably will be very, very soon. But no, this was a very good trios match, to be fair. And Dark Order's picking up the win. And this trio of Grayson, Cabana, and Uno have never lost. So this was their third win on the trot. And this was back and forth, hard hitting, great trios action, and also good trios tag team wrestling from both teams, to be fair. And I enjoyed this one a great deal. And I think the feud between both factions has been entertaining, and there's a lot more to go, I think, because obviously the number of people involved, the way they can mix up. And this was a very unique way to mix up. They've had trios matches before, but never with Private Party and Jack Evans. But not to say that both teams didn't put on a very good performance here, because they did. And I think the right team won, because it's been kind of even as of late between HFO and Dark Order. But not to say that I didn't enjoy this one, because this was a very good trios matchup. And Chicago Skyline from Colt Cabana picked up the win, but not to say this wasn't an entertaining trios match, because it really was. So couldn't fault it. So thumbs up to all 6 men involved for producing a really good matchup. So there we go. The next matchup was Shawn Dean versus JDX, making his AEW debut, and the first matchup in 2021, I think, if I'm not mistaken, in AEW for Shawn Dean. And he picked up the win with a very unique submission move, and this was Shawn Dean's first ever win in AEW. And Shawn Dean hasn't been on AEW television for a while because he is there full time now. He works very hard behind the scenes, and I do know that. But it's good to see him in the ring again, to be fair. And He picked up win against an impressive JDX, to be fair. He showed some good stuff in this matchup, but the night did belong to the veteran Sean Dean. Picked up the win with a unique submission, which I don't have a name for. I don't think the rest or the commentary team did either, to be completely fair. But this is his first win in AEW, so I can't fault that. And so kind of cool to see Sean Dean pick up his first win. So there we go. Never wrong with that at all. Reporters to the final matchup. I'm not going to say main event, even though it was the last matchup. I think the main event was the trios match. I think, but sometimes they kind of do that. AEW, they kind of put the main event there because of who's involved, and they put this kind of matchup somewhere else. But this matchup was Ryan Nemeth and Caesar Bononi versus Sage Scott and Jake St. Patrick. And the wingmen, I can't help but love them, to be fair. Yeah, the most unique faction in AEW, I think, but also one of the most entertaining because they're funny. They've got the style, the panache, and it shows with all four men and all four of them. And they did pick up the win with a fairly quick, hard-hitting double team move. Nemeth and Bononi just work as a tag team too. I really like them, and they've not the first time they've tagged together. I wouldn't mind seeing more combination of the women too. I don't think I've seen JD Drake and Nemeth tag together. That would be good, to be fair. If they have, I don't remember it. But that being said, that ended the night, this matchup, with Nemeth and Benoni versus St. Patrick and Sage Scott. And on that note, I will end the review here. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you all next time. But until that time, take care.